Hello and welcome, guys, to this Pisces Virgo eclipse season workshop. This is going to be a full workshop, a little different than my usual full moon, new moon videos. We definitely are going to dive in deep about this full moon in Pisces, as well as the new moon in Virgo that will follow, because these are very special lunations. These are eclipses. So, this is the eclipse portal. And with eclipse portals come massive shakeups and change, massive timeline shifts. So we are going to be diving into the energy of this eclipse portal of each individual major lunation, the full moon in Pisces, the new moon in Virgo, and what this theme is really about, because this is not just right now. This is a theme, right, a huge theme right now for the next month. However, it's also a much bigger story that started a year ago and will continue for another year. So, a much longer story. So, not only are we going to dive into the astrology, what it all means on a collective worldwide level and on an individual level, we're also going to figure out how can I work with this energy for the best amount of flow through this chaos. We're going to reflect with some journal questions near the end, and we are going to finish off with a guided meditation. Because eclipse season is turbulent, especially in mutable signs such as they are, we're going to be grounding our energy at the end and really opening up our heart space. So stick around for that. And if you like this kind of content, like and subscribe, and keep in mind that this is a pay what you can donation based workshop. So at the end of it, see how you feel, and you feel free to donate whatever you feel you got out of this. And I pray that it returns to you absolutely tenfold. I like to keep the energy going and flowing around here. So the donations help me so that I can keep doing this content for you guys and keep supporting you guys through these times of seemingly random chaos. And yeah, with that, let's just dive into it. I could talk forever, God knows. So, this eclipse portal opens on August 23rd, when we already had that new moon in Virgo, the first one at 0 degrees. And it's going to close on August 6th, which is Canadian Thanksgiving, by the way, and a full moon in Aries. So this is kind of this window. Now, some can say it can go longer. I really like to focus on this window here where it's really quite strong. A lot of energy is shifting and changing. So it's not just exactly when there are eclipses or just in the 2 weeks between them, although you could argue that's the height of it, but it can be leading up to and a little bit after. So pay attention to anything big, any big changes that have come up in the weeks already, and that might be happening smack in the middle of these eclipses or shortly after, or things that get initiated during these eclipses and play out a little after, but they were initiated during this time. So keeping track of all that. So, just a quick rundown over what eclipse seasons are really about. So, eclipse season is connected to the lunar nodes, the moon's nodes. There's a north node and a south node, and they are opposites. They're always opposite each other. And they're always moving. Every 2 years, 2.5 years, they shift into a different place. And this is not a physical thing, this is like a mathematical point. That has to do with the ecliptic of the Earth and the moon, and it gets very scientific. So it's not a thing in the sky that you can see, it's a mathematical point. And what these represent, the North Node is where we are expanding as a collective in that energy, in that time. And the North Node is where we are releasing. We are releasing energy around those themes and clearing and purging. And we are going to see the shadow side of those themes so that we know what to release. We're going to see how that South Node energy doesn't work right now. And the North Node energy, how it's just really calling us at this time, ushering us forward. So right now the North Node is in Pisces and the South Node is in Virgo. So the North Node in Pisces is begging us to open our hearts. The North Node in Pisces is all about recognizing that we are all one, that we're all connected, that we're all equal, that we're brothers and sisters, that none of these labels and divisions and borders actually are real and actually matter. What really matters, that like wise, bird's eye view. So Pisces is like the wise old sage, at the end of their life who can reflect back on what really mattered. Think of it like that. So Pisces has this lens of like what really matters. And what really matters when people are at the end of their life, what do they always say like that they wish they would have done more? Do they wish they would have worked harder? No. Do they wish they would have spent more nights at the office? No. That's Virgo. Pisces is going to say, I wish I spent more time with my family. That's what really matters. I wish that, I would have done what I really loved. That's what matters. Um, so Pisces is really ushering us into our heart space. What really matters to you in your heart space? That personal expression, that creativity, that um, love and devotion and care for other people. And Pisces is really going to open our eyes to all the suffering that's going on in the world, all the ways in which the world is in pain and deep suffering and needs healing and needs our help. And we are going to feel more and more called to help, to dissolve these boundaries between us. And Pisces is also really not interested in logic. Pisces is much more interested in the metaphysical realm, in the spiritual realm, in the intuitive realm, in the emotional realm. So it's going to lend us much more capability um, into those themes. So getting downloads, this is a great full moon to get massive energetic downloads, to meditate, to communicate with your spirit guides, to connect with God in whatever way that you do. It's a very powerful vortex for this very spiritual, very strong spiritual portal, a full moon eclipse in Pisces. And the South Node in Virgo. So Virgo is all about logic, being practical, technical. It's detail oriented to the nth degree. It is pure organization, analytics, it's perfectionism, and it's a very selfless energy. So this is the workaholic, one of the workaholics. Capricorn's in there too. Virgo is a natural workaholic in the sense that, like, no matter what it is that they're doing, whether it's their literal job or not, but they are always busy, they're always working, they're always being useful. They really need to feel purposeful, useful. They can't really sit idle for too long. Um, and it's a very nitpicky energy because they are designed to find the little details, to perfect. Their mind is like a computer just taking in information and like Tetrising it all together in the perfect way. The original AI. So, and Virgo very much loves structure and organization and like labeling things and being able to put things in a box. And we're really seeing how that just doesn't serve us at this moment in time. There is a time when that helps, when that's needed, but right now we're really going to get to see how these systems are flawed. How, yeah, it's nice to be able to put everything in an organized little box and in its place, but that's just not how life is and not how the world is all the time. And it's nice to use the logic. Of course, we're not going to throw logic out the window, but there is a place where logic just doesn't solve the problem, where logic just doesn't cut it, where you can't explain things with logic. There is no logic and practicality behind having a spiritual experience. And we are all spiritual beings having a human experience. So if you only run by logic, you're going to be very unsettled or even deny your own experiences. So we have to have that open mind, that Pisces open mind, and that open heart that we can't explain everything in this universe. And sometimes the right thing to do does not fit within that system, the capacity of a system that we already created long ago. So now this is going to really bring up a lot of themes around health and healthcare, um, and the physical suffering of the world and the mental suffering of the world, um, because Pisces and Virgo is very much the health axis. So you'll notice a lot of Pisces and Virgo people that work in healthcare or in some type of healing modality. So we may see, especially during a full moon in Pisces, like we really might see very full emergency rooms. And we also could see literal things like floods. You know, Pisces is a water sign. So, full moon eclipse in Pisces could really make us very emotional, not overly practical, much more irrational. So, emotional, irrational, overwhelmed feeling. We might be more interested in detaching and kind of escapism. So keep in check like any type of addictions or escapist type behavior. We may feel more inclined to like check out and tap out. So find healthy is like healthy forms of escapism like art and creativity. This is an amazing energy to get creative, to get those creative juices flowing, to listen to music, go visit a museum, paint, DIY something, write. It doesn't have to make sense, even just like automatic writing, like something that I like to do with people who have a really hard time articulating what's going on inside. I just have them literally spit out what they see. Is it blue? Is it a square? Does it feel hard and heavy? Does it feel light? Literally just spit random crap out because that's how the subconscious mind works. And subconscious mind is very much ruled by Pisces. Now, this particular Pisces eclipse, so it is loosely opposite Mercury, who is in Virgo during this eclipse. So the moon opposite Mercury. Now, Mercury is in its home sign in Virgo, which is great, but then it's going to be opposite the full moon in Pisces. So there's going to be a moment of really, like I said, not being able to think clearly, being more emotional, irrational. It could make us just a lot more sensitive as well, like literally taking in more senses, more information around us. You might be more sensitive to light and sound and just sensations. It might offer a much more like frenetic energy of like, I have all these things, tangible things that I need to sort out and do, but I'm like overwhelmed, but I'm like in my feels about it. All I can do is like escape or want to cry, and just recognize that that's okay and that you're not crazy. Um, that this is the energy happening right now. So just like witness what's happening and know that it'll get a little bit easier. Definitely after the full moon, you'll be able to think a little more clearly. But it just might offer this like kind of frenetic, like overwhelmed, and you're actually just like frozen and tapped out and just doing nothing. You're like, I have all this stuff to do, and going over it in your head, and like, I'm just gonna have a drink with my friends. I'm just gonna have a glass of wine. Now be careful because it is Pisces, so just a glass, not a bottle, eh? But we might feel that urge to detach and escape. So, a good way to deal with that, again, write it down, Just let it exist over there. If it can wait a couple of days, that's great. Yeah, we might feel like we're having this kind of emotional like burst, like the floodgates opening, and all these emotions just flooding out. Let it come out. Let it come out. All of it, just let it out. Let it just go somewhere outside of you. So big feelings that really might not be convenient and definitely not logical at this time, but they're there. Feelings are not logic, right? They're not. They're different things. Feelings are not facts. So, um, we might even feel like a little bit sick over the details. Like this could spark sickness. We do have Neptune still kind of conjunct Saturn. Saturn has dipped back into Pisces at this time and is in the later degrees. So this could be like literal or figurative kind of sick. Like just take it easy out there. And if you're feeling really overwhelmed mentally, like really take care of your body during the whole eclipse period. It's going to need more support. The ruler of this lunation is Jupiter, and Jupiter is currently in Cancer, and it is exalted in Cancer, and it is trining this moon. However, it is also squaring Mars in Libra. So again, this was like our thoughts and our feelings and like our action just kind of like at odds. Like this moon is taking center stage, and it's not going to be convenient to do what we want to do, to accomplish what we want to accomplish, to be logical and practical or get anything done. It's a really good time to just go tap inward, get creative, get in touch with our intuition, and perhaps like a little bit of inner child at this time. So overall themes, like it's a very idealistic time. Perhaps dreaming of like how beautiful things could be in our life or in the world at large, like a very idealistic, utopian type vibes. And it may be completely delusional, but that's okay. There's a very big emphasis on like harmony and equality, social equality, like diplomacy, coming together, helping each other, like the collective at large. It's like this social coming together, social connection, wanting to help others. Perhaps even like in our own personal lives, like relationship dynamics, some inner healing at this time. Our creativity is on overdrive, so find a creative outlet, especially if you're feeling overwhelmed. Pour that into creative expression. It's a very heart overhead moment. So now shifting to the Virgo eclipse on the 21st is in 29 degrees of Virgo, honey. It's Virgo season, which is all about clearing and organizing, and it's also rules the digestive tract, which is like throwing out the old, throwing out the garbage. What goes over here, what goes over here? What are we keeping? What needs to go? So it's Virgo season with the South Node in Virgo, which is also this clearing and purging kind of energy. And we also have a eclipse on the South Node in Virgo, so that's just amplifying that energy on steroids. And it's happening at the 29th degree. So the 29th degree is an anaretic critical degree. It is just really amplifying the biggest of endings, the 29th degree. It's the final degree before a planet or a point moves into the next sign and the next energy. So this is such a massive time of clearing. This is, I called it the verge of the purge. You guys, we need to be releasing so much. What do we need to be releasing? We need to release control. We need to release control, and we need to release outdated systems that don't hold us anymore. Now, this is also being supported by the outer planets. So this is not just the eclipse on its own, of course. There's a lot of other things going on too. So I want to point out we have this massive kite shape happening in the sky, and this is happening with the outer planets, which is even more rare, right? We have this grand trine that's happening with outer planets for months of 2025. And then this new moon in Virgo is activating this massive kite shape now as well. So, what this basically means is this is a really huge time for big societal endings and beginnings. The collective is really shifting forward into a brand spanking new timeline. And it's not just because of these eclipses, that's also Pluto moving into Aquarius, shifting the collective. That's Saturn shifting into Aries. Now it has retrograded back into Pisces at this time, but it's wiggled between the first degrees of Aries and the last degrees of Pisces throughout this year. Next year, it's going to solidify into Aries. We have Neptune at 1 degree of Aries. We have Uranus at 1 degree of Gemini. The collective is shifting mega levels, like whole systemic change. If we didn't already kind of see this happening, like this is just the beginning. This is truly just the beginning of a brand new age, really being marked by that age of Aquarius with Pluto. And this eclipse is activating all of this. And with it being the South Node and in Virgo and in 29 degrees, like this is such a massive moment for clearing out with the old to make space for the new. This might really look like, I talked about how this is the health axis. This could really look like overhauling our healthcare systems in multiple countries. This is not country specific, okay? This is worldwide. We're going to get this clarity around what needs to go, although the new is not quite here yet, but we're getting this clarity on what needs to change and where we're headed in the near future. So, yeah, throwing out these outdated systems, I see like a big theme about like the people and the government, like, the people and the leaders, structure, tradition, and illusions, and foggy new ideals. Like there's just this weird combination of all of these themes here. So to me, this is like old versus new. The leadership and the people kind of having a moment to come together or to come at odds. Like this could be really like marking the beginning of an ending of a really big breakdown of these like controlled systems. A massive clearing for a lot of new things to come in the next 6 months to like the next year. We also have Mars square Pluto. So this is a transit that happened that triggered the Hamas attacks in Israel. It was Mars square Pluto. This is really standing out to me because it's happening also during an eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo. And then Mars is going to be at the end of Libra. Mars is going to move into those beginning degrees of Scorpio. This is, this drive for truth and power. Mars and Scorpio, like squaring Pluto is like a sniper. Now, that like sniper, like out of left field, like sneak attack type energy. And being that Pluto's now in Aquarius, when this happened last time, it was in Mars was in Libra and Pluto was in Capricorn. So now this is happening. Mars will be at the end degrees of Libra, and then it's going to be in Scorpio shortly after, and Pluto's in the beginning of Aquarius. So I just feel like it could be like some sort of like tech sniper, like something going weird with technology and the collective and people. So whether this is like aggressively like stealing information or exposing information or attacking a collective group of people through technology in some type of way. Maybe this is through AI. Maybe this is through some sort of online like abuse or collection of information, or even like releasing some type of virus that could be technical, not necessarily a literal virus, more of like a computer virus, a system virus. Other themes are like kind of like fighting for truth, demanding truth, maybe leaking hidden files to the public, or something that goes viral. So the ruler of that eclipse is Mercury, and it's at 5 degrees of Libra. It's loosely opposite Neptune. In Aries, it's loosely trining Pluto and Uranus. So basically, it's just like our mind. Mercury rules the mind and the way that we think and communicate. It's very much about the people. It's focused on the people, the collective society at large, the group effort. So maybe this might really look like speaking up for justice, for the people, for those who are oppressed or under some type of control. Now I'm gonna just put this out there as a prediction. There could be amplified activity surrounding Gaza. Maybe on maybe the world stage kind of really standing up, especially with this Mars square Pluto aspect that is like repeating. It's now repeating a 2 year like cycle that began with the Hamas attacks in Israel and of course inevitably like the war in Gaza. So this could really spark a lot more energy around that, and perhaps just people being really fucking fed up with everything that's going on. Not even gonna get into like sides. We're being asked to look beyond that. So if you're thinking that there's a right side in this, you're on a bandwagon. You've been sold a bandwagon. So there are no sides, there are only people. This is what Pisces wants you to know. There is no division, there is no side, there's no good guy, bad guy. We're all people. And nobody deserves to die and suffer. Nobody. No matter where you are in the world or what your color your skin is, what your freaking hair is, what your religion is, what language you speak, what your culture or traditions are. Like, nothing matters. You have a heart beating in your body, and you have blood in your veins, you have oxygen in your lungs. You're a human. That's what Pisces is all about. Just how are we united? How are we the same? Recognizing that. So now I just want to touch base that if we zoom out from these eclipses are really activating what else is already happening in the sky. And what's happening in the sky right now is like unprecedented, is astrology history. So we have so many planets. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay, planets at either end degrees of a sign or beginning degrees of a sign. So around like 29 to 1 degree of signs. And this is really, again, these big endings and big new beginnings. This is just shifting energy. Bing, bang, boom. Things are shifting. We have Mars at 29 degrees of Libra at this eclipse. We have the Sun and Moon at 29 degrees of Virgo. We have Saturn that will be at 28 degrees of Pisces. Pluto will be at 1 degree of Aquarius. Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries, which is the world axis. Uranus at 1 degree of Gemini, and Venus will even be at 2 degrees of Virgo at that moment. Like, oh my God, plus the Mars square Pluto. Like, it's just massive collective endings and beginnings, clearing out the old, envisioning the new, exploring new territory, breaking things down. Like, I can't emphasize that enough, guys. So this whole eclipse portal, what are you purging? And what is trying to be reborn? What is trying to come into your life? It should probably already be a little bit obvious. There should probably already be things that have been happening throughout 2025 that have been sparking a lot more curiosity, a lot like a new beginning, a new area of interest, new passions that should be becoming very obvious. So, some focus questions um, to ponder and reflect throughout this eclipse season. So, the first question, where am I clinging on to control in my life and it's not serving me? Now, this might be in something literal in your life, but it also just might be like some really stuck mindset patterns, thought traps, because Virgo's very nitpicky, perfectionistic. So, where am I like trying to control my experiences, the outcomes of things? Um, where am I clinging on to control and it's just not serving me? That's number one. Number two, what can I purge at this time to make space for new blessings to enter? So, and number three, what has been emerging for me this year that is calling for me to pay more attention to that isn't necessarily logical, right? Something that you is like more creative, more soul fulfilling, more enjoyable. What's been kind of calling to you? Um, and number four, how am I feeling versus what am I thinking? So, are there any noticeable themes or clashes that are emerging, like your heart's desire versus logic? So, just getting clear, what am I feeling lately? And then what does my mind say, my ego say? What am I thinking? And just observe whatever themes are coming up, whatever patterns you might notice. Okay, now we're gonna end this workshop. We're gonna ground our energy with a guided meditation, and we are gonna open up, first open our hearts and connect deeper to our heart space. So everybody get nice and cozy and comfortable in a nice seated position. You can lay down if you want, and just kind of close down your eyes. Hands are at your side, or maybe they're sitting on your knees. And just take some deep breaths and just drop in for a moment. Checking in with your body. We're going to start with a nice deep breath in through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1, and breathing out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and breathing in for 4, 3, 2, 1, and out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and breathe in again for 4, 3, 2, 1, and out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you can continue on your own. Although next time as we breathe out, we're going to close down the mouth and hum as we exhale. So breathing in for 4, 3, 2, 1, and breathing out. And breathing in for 4, 3, 2, 1, and humming out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in one more time. 4, 3, 2, 1, and out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just continue on your own natural breathing. And we're going to be sending a grounding cord from the root chakra between our hips all the way down, down into the earth, down all the way to the center of the earth, where you see the earth's crystal in the very center of the earth. And your grounding cord is going to hook or latch onto that crystal where you are absolutely securely rooted to Mother Earth. And now we can let any stress or worry, anxiety, any fears, doubts, any unpleasant situations, just visualize all of that leaving your body like a black oil running out of the body, down through the soles of the feet, down into the ground, where Mother Gaia absorbs, she heals, and she transmutes. Just visualizing all of that negative energy, all of the fear, going down into the ground. All this black oil just leaving out the soles of the feet. And it is all gone. Going, 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 gone. It is taken care of. It is removed. And it is unable to return. Just visualizing all of that leaving and gone. And take a deep breath in and let it all out. And we're going to take a deep inhale, inhaling peace and spaciousness that is now available in its place from your being. And exhaling and solidifying its removal in its entirety. It is done. And let's take another deep breath in, breathing in peace and spaciousness. And exhaling out, it is done. And one more time, nice big deep inhale, peace and space, and exhale. It is finished, solidified, renewed, replenished. Now we're going to be moving up into the heart space. Place a hand on your heart if you like. And I want you to visualize in that space, in the middle of your chest, right underneath your hand. I want you to visualize a really bright, glowing light coming from that center. And as you breathe in, this light expands and it grows and doubles in size. As you breathe out, it sends more love into every cell of your body. So breathe in, it's doubling in size again, and breathe out into every cell of your body. And breathing in, it doubles again, and breathe it out into every cell. Keep breathing. Keep visualizing. It's doubling in size every time you breathe in. Every time you breathe out, it's pushing more love into every cell of your body. On your next big inhale, breathe in and visualize that light growing, filling your entire body. And breathe it out. And breathe in. The light now fills this entire room. And breathe out. Breathe in. The light's filling your entire home. And breathe out. And breathe in. It's filling the neighbors' homes too. And breathe out. And breathe in. It's filling the whole neighborhood. Breathe out. Breathe in. It's filling the entire town or city. And breathe out. And breathe in. It's lighting up the entire country. Breathe out. And breathe in. You're filling the entire world with your light. And breathe out. And breathe in. It's lighting up the entire galaxy. And breathe out. Now pause and come back to your natural breath. Eyes staying closed. And just feeling this light filling and radiating all around you. Notice how big the light has gotten and how small you are at the center of it, and how powerful you are at the center of it, that you created that. Your heart is so big. Your heart is so bright. Your heart is so powerful. All of the time, always, it is here, begging to be stretched, begging to shine. We'll take a few more breaths here. And now with each exhale, notice the light becoming smaller again. First, back to the whole world. Next, back to your country. Next, back into your city. Next, back to your neighborhood. And back into your neighbors. And back into your home. And back into your body. Noticing how incredibly bright and blinding this white light is coming from your heart. And we're going to go back into that heart space just for a moment. Bring our attention there and ask your heart, what does it need right now that you haven't been listening to? Simply wait for any answers. And when you have your answers, say thank you, knowing that you can always come back and ask it again anytime. It's always here waiting for you to tune in. And if you didn't receive any answers yet, you can ask it to become clear over the next few days or to come to you in your dreams. Set the intention that you're open to those answers when the time is right. Now coming back into the body, slowly, with each inhale, returning back into this present space, into your room, into the present moment. Maybe we're rolling the neck. Maybe we're swaying side to side, gently moving fingers and toes, and maybe slowly gazing the eyes open. And welcome back. Okay, guys, be sure to drink plenty of water after this workshop, after this meditation, and throughout all of eclipse season for the next few weeks. We are changing at a cellular level, and this is deep, deep change, systemic change as a world and as individuals. Write down anything that came to you during the meditation, whether it was the answers that you got from your heart, or just write down what you experienced and how it felt and how you're feeling now. And reflect on the journal questions that we discussed earlier in this video. So you guys can come back to this workshop and do the meditation as many times as you need to reground and reset your energy. It's here for you. Let me know down below if this was helpful for you and how you're feeling about this eclipse season. Don't forget, guys, to like and subscribe if you want to stay in the loop for future content like this and workshops like this. And reminder that this workshop is donation based, so pay what you can. It's totally accessible for everybody, and all of the money that you guys give back to me helps me to keep creating content like this that is very accessible for you guys. And thank you guys for being here and joining this workshop. Stay grounded out there, babes. I love you, and see you in the next video.